guys, welcome to Witchy Wednesday, and since I have a bit of a migraine hangover today, I thought I would do just a quick show and tell on this book because everybody asks about it. Everybody. I talk about it so often and I don't think I've ever actually shown it. I'm not sure, but I thought I would show you anyway. It's called the Illustrated Signs and Symbols Sourcebook. It's by Adele Nozedar. And it is an A to Z compendium of over 1,000 designs. And it covers everything. Everything you could possibly want to know. It's got every possible tradition. It's got all sorts of different local symbols and tribal symbols and you name it, it's in here. It's a soft cover. It's 8.5 by 11 and it is 2 inches thick, I think. 1.5 inches thick. It's a hefty book. Okay, I actually use this to hold my camera steady most of the time. So if you're seeing a little bit of jiggling on the camera, it's because I'm using this. I'm using my doorstep under the camera instead of holding the camera. So it's a 2010 publication from Harper Collins. So it's a UK publication, but I have seen people say that they've been able to get it on Amazon UK, and I know that Book Depository do it, and they have free international shipping, of course. It's split up into all these different sections. So we've got magic and mystery, the world of hidden secrets, so that covers all sorts of things, fauna, animals, flora, plants, flowers of the underworld, sacred geometry, numbers, sacred sounds, the body is a map, rites and rituals, and customs and observances, and then the nature of the divine. So this is all about gods and goddesses and nirvana, I suppose. That's what this is all about. And then it's got a huge index at the back of all sorts of different reading that you might be interested in. So basically it's got an introduction to different types of symbols and where they came from. And they believe that all these various symbols came from wandering tribes. You've probably seen if you've watched things like Criminal Minds and stuff, you'll see that like vagrants have their own language of symbols. So they'll put a mark for a house that is willing to offer work, or somewhere that you can get food, or some stuff like that. It's basically a similar thing. Hunters do it. They put, signs in different areas showing that there's traps, or, that there's good hunting or bad hunting, or that there's hidden swamps or whatever. All these different languages build up. And that's basically what signs and symbols are. They're types of language. They predate the written word. So a lot of them are very, very, very ancient. Some of them are secret, some of them are sacred. It talks about that here, where you have symbols like, just off the top of my head, what can I think? Oh, like the Masons. A lot of people don't know what the different symbols mean for the different Masons or anything. Although they might recognise them as a Masonic symbol, they wouldn't necessarily know what they mean. Because it's a secret society, in that only the members of the society really understand what is going on. Vagrants are the same, they are very localised, and only that area, or that tribe, if you like, knows what those symbols really mean. Some are sacred, which is obviously to do with divinity or symbols that have power or hidden meanings. Vital signs, which express things that are to do with life. The sun is a vital sign. The moon is a vital sign. Rain symbols are vital signs. They are the stuff of life. They are necessary to man's knowledge of the earth and himself and everything around him. It also talks about the butterfly and the wheel, which if you're into Primo Levi, you'll know about that. It's a bit of a strange concept to try to explain, but it's all to do with the effect of symbols on themselves, on man, on each other, looking at analogies and how analogies become symbolic. Pictures, pictorial symbols, lithographs, hieroglyphs, anatomy of a symbol, that kind of thing. And then they talk about wizards and true stars, which I don't really get it. I don't really know what they're about. I need to look further into that one because I don't really understand that. Anyway, then you get into the first section, and I do like the artwork. It's really nice. So it talks about different symbols, the basics of the shape, the space, the negative space and the spatial things and geometry of different symbols, and often how you'll find that certain symbols mean the same thing. So curves or circles or figure of eights or dots very often mean wholeness or oneness or flow of energy or combining. If you think of things like the Ouroboros, the snake eating its own tail, and the infinity symbol and the circle of life and all that kind of stuff, the wheel of the year, they all tend to be circular. They are things that happen over and over and over and over and over again. Linear things tend to be a vertical line indicates man, because it's the axis of the world tree. It's the upright man coming from the ape, you know, and then horizontal lines tend to involve the animal and plant kingdom, with the different strata and genesis. Is that the word? I always want to say genealogy, but that's humans. The different levels of animals and plants going up the scale, you know, to human. They talk about crosses and things and squares and lozenges and just everything, every possible symbol. And then it starts with the basic symbols at the beginning with, I don't even know how to pronounce that, Asquande, which is apparently an unexpected illustration that seems out of sorts or out of its place. A stone found in the entrails of an animal would be considered an asquande, or a fate symbol, I suppose. Here's all the different symbols. So if you don't know what your symbol looks like, you know, if you don't know that that's the Agnus Dei symbol, it doesn't matter. If you're looking for that symbol, you can flip through and find the symbols. Every single symbol is in here. It'd take you a while. You might want to look it up on the internet, unless you're very bookish. I would happily go through the book, because the more you look through the book, the more you recognise different symbols. But, you know, it's got everything from, this is a section on aphrodisiacs and all the different symbols and things that are considered aphrodisiacs across the world and what they relate to. Bananas, not surprisingly, being to do with male genitalia, of course. You can kind of tell a lot of things are symbolic because they look like what they are referring to, if you know what I mean. The athame, obviously, being a male symbol. The chalice being a female symbol and all that. Oh, the beckoning cat. I love the little kitties. Nico. Is it Nico? Nico. I love these. I want one of these for my little magical corner. But apparently you're supposed to either be gifted one or come across one accidentally. You're not supposed to go shopping for one. So I can't just buy one off the internet. I've got to wait till I find one, or, you know, one turns up on my doorstep, or I find one in a thrift shop or something. I can't actually go and physically buy one. So then there's all sorts of things. There's a Brigid cross. So there's the proper Brigid cross and how it's woven together. And it's basically, it's an A to Z. So this is all sacred symbols and mystic and magic. So anything witchy is going to be in this area. You've got fauna. This is the animal kingdom. So you've got all your all your animals for your dream symbols and your totems and spirit animals and all that kind of stuff. It even covers things like Father Christmas. I'm not quite sure what Father Christmas has got to do with, maybe he's fantastical. Ah, fantastical animals, there you go. So that covers things like the angels and the basilisks and the behemoth and the chimeras and dragons and Father Christmas. The furies, ghosts, all that kind of thing. Then you've got flora. So again, this is good for dream interpretation, but it's also good for correspondences and things. Chamomile. Chamomile flower takes its root from a Greek word meaning apple, a reference to the distinct apple scents given off by the plant, especially if it's crushed. The Egyptians held chamomile to be sacred to the sun god Ra, as did the Teutons, who dedicated it in turn to their sun god Baldur. Chamomile has protective qualities, and a wreath of it hung in the home will apparently protect the house from thunder and lightning. Who knew? But see, again, the fact that it has protective qualities is, you could almost guess that if you know your symbology and your correspondences. Chamomile smells like apple. Apple is the fruit of protection and knowledge. If you didn't know, it's the fruit of protection because if you cut an apple sideways rather than downwards, it's got a pentagram in the middle, and it slices the seeds. And the more seeds, the more knowledge. It's got all the different, morning flowers, language of flowers in here, which I find really useful. I use this a lot when I'm drawing. For instance, a dark crimson rose is a morning rose. You've got the chakras and things, and different trees, berries, flowers specifically of the world. Flowers of the underworld are crystals, apparently. Who knew? Symbolic title. Devious. I didn't realise there was crystals in here. I've never got this. I never got into this section. I've been using the flora and the beginning sections. I had to take all my bookmarks out because it had so many sticky notes in it you couldn't have actually seen the book. But yeah, apparently this is all about stones and crystals. I didn't know that, or I would have had a look. And then of course this sacred geometry and pilgrimages. Numbers. So Fibonacci sequence. Anybody who does my classes will know a lot about the Fibonacci sequence. Letters and numbers, codes, Chinese numbers, sacred numbers, sacred sounds and sacred sounds and secret signs. Sacred sounds. What are sacred sounds? Oh, like om, for instance. I'm not big on sacred sounds, but this is all about the written and spoken word. So that's om, isn't it? Alpha and Omega. Bismillah, Dawa. The K in magic. So yeah, it's a really, really good, it's a fantastic book if you're into symbols of any kind, really. It doesn't have to be for religious or sacred purposes. Even as an artist, I find this incredibly useful because there's so much deeper meaning. What's this section? Oh, the body. Various symbols of the body. So covering everything from babies being born with calls, through to the shape of your head and fingers, all sorts of things. Fantastic. Oh, and it's got rites and rituals, so this is specific to certain customs, and like things like Diwali and Christmas and death. There's Diwali, Easter. Eleusinian mysteries. Don't know what they are. Not heard of that one. So I've had this a couple of years and I've still not delved into all of it. There's still sections that I haven't read. Usually what I do is I grab a sticky note and I flag it as something I want to. I think, oh, that's interesting, you know, while I'm looking for something else. So I flag it. Saturnalia, Ramadan, Valentine, the Wheel of the Year, and then you're into different tribal kind of divine symbol type stuff. So you're talking about totems and Aztecs and different deities, Abyssinia, Assyria, Rhiannon, Celtic, China, Egyptian. So it's basically got all the symbols of all the gods that they could find, I think, or lots of them anyway. I mean, obviously there's entire books dedicated especially to like the Norse and Hindu religions, or Norse and Hindu pantheons. I mean, there's millions of them. You're never going to fit them all in this book, but you know, it's got a lot of them in here. So, and there's this humongous reading list. It's like 10-15 pages long, huge, of all these different books that people are good for people who are into symbols. And then of course you've got your index. So if you know what you're looking for, so if you want to look up onyx, there's onyx. What could you want to look up? Feng shui. Feng shui. Feng shui. There we go. Gold. Since we're on the G's. Gold. Gold, golden section, golden goose. So it's even got like fairy tale stuff in here and things like that. Peyote. Yeah, it's a fabulous book. It really is. It's got almost everything you could possibly want. Unless you get into very specialist things. It's got a section on tarot. I think it's only got the major arcana. Yeah, it's only got the 21 major arcana. But I'm sure it talks about pentacles and chalices and all that kind of stuff in here. The swastika, the original swastika, and the swastika of Freemasonry, the swastika obviously of Nazism, the swastika as a solar symbol, the swastika as the Wheel of the Year symbol, the swastika as the Hindu symbol, decorated with bindus or dots at the centre, one of the 108 sacred symbols of the Lord Vishnu. So yeah, there's a lot of symbols that, you know, people ascribe one thing to it and it means something else. You know, like the pentagram, obviously. You know, oh, the right the way up pentagram means Wicca, and the upside down pentagram is devil worship and all that crap. Actually, the upside down pentagram, I believe, symbolises the male, basically the yin and yang, the male and female. Also used in Christian mysticism, Druidry, magic, sacred geometry, alchemy, the Kabbalah, the Tarot, Freemasonry, and is often known as the Blazing Star. It's one of the keys of Pythagoras. and the key of higher knowledge as discovered by Adam, again because it was in the middle of the apple. Sometimes known as a Latin cross by early Christians, symbol of Baphomet. You know, it's just all sorts of things, all sorts of things. And then it's even got Persian rugs, you know, all the symbolism in Persian rugs. Did you know that there was symbolism in Persian rugs? They mean all sorts of things. They were made as dowry presents, apparently, and that's why they're so expensive, as it were. So yeah, there we go. That's my Book of Signs and Symbols Sourcebook. Adele Nozedar. I'll put the details down below. It's a fabulous book, especially if you're into the kinds of things that I am into. And I'm not sure how much it is, but it says on here £30 UK, but I didn't spend anywhere near that on it. I bought it on Amazon. So I'll see you next week for another Witchy Wednesday. Bye!